Welcome to this edition of Man Cave Technology. We have a special thing for you. We are doing a podcast again, and we have some special things going on here. So first off, we have special guest Jeremy Randell.
Hey, everybody.
Who has flown all the way from Oklahoma City this morning. What time did you get up this morning?
I got up at like 4:15.
Which was like 2 o'clock in the morning here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and then we have Ryan, who has been on previous shows.
Yes.
So we got some cool stuff today. We're going to talk about Apple had a FaceTime issue, and this kid found out about it and tried to contact Apple, and they didn't listen, and then they now are embarrassed. And we're going to talk about the Super Bowl and the compression levels, because we watched it on Hulu, we watched it on the CBS app, and it was like it looked like watching YouTube in the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So anyway, first off, let's find out for our audience what you do, Randell.
So I work for a audiovisual production company in Oklahoma, and basically what I do is I go around and I do these random shows. A lot of what we do is corporate. And so, things like annual awards meetings, fundraiser galas, things like that. And so, we do everything that you would expect to get like all dressed nice and go out and go do these things. And, you expect to have a little bit of a wow factor. You expect to have, flawless production. People have videos of, different things going on. A lot of times they'll have some type of auction or some way to plead for your money, those kinds of things. And so, we make a lot of videos that have to do with that. And like, if they're selling some like golf outing, then we'll go get footage of like some golf course.
People having fun.
Yeah, people having fun. And, then we'll, do all the lighting and the video and the audio and all the things that go along with that. We do a lot of conferences and stuff like that. So it's a really interesting industry. It's an always changing industry, and that's part of what makes it interesting is you get some people that are like, oh, I just want the same thing I have last year. But then you get the other clients that are like, I definitely don't want what I had last year. What can we do to make this a little more modern and spruce it up?
Right. But let's just be honest here and get to the thing that we really like, and that is that you get to play with a bunch of really cool equipment.
Yes.
You have access to a bunch of really cool equipment.
Yes.
Like, tell us some of the things that just, if you wanted to, you could go in and just string up,
Oh, we've got some pretty decent HD, and 4K cameras that are really nice to mess with. Some Panasonic and Sony cameras that are, you're talking like full build-up broadcast, full...
Yeah, the real deal.
Yeah.
Not the GoPros that we just
not the
strewn
GoPros
around this room.
Not the GoPros
Sonys.
that, are hard to figure out how to push the record button on. But, we're talking about the real thing. Tri-X cameras, HD SDI cameras, things like that. And so, we got some of that stuff. We've got some really powerful projectors. We're talking like 20,000 lumen.
Wow.
The kind of thing.
bright.
Yeah, the kind of thing that if you put in your living room, it would put a hole in the wall.
That's a lot brighter than the Amazon Prime Day projectors that they're selling.
Yeah. I mean, and
and then you stack those sometimes.
Yeah, you can double stack 20Ks. The newest trend in large format projection is laser. So you can get like 20K lasers, and they use significantly less power than the old traditional big old arc lamp things that like you could heat your house with.
Yeah.
And so, we get to play with those kinds of things. We get to do a lot of projection mapping. We're using multiple projectors, and you're, like overlaying images. And like we did a thing about a year or two ago where they brought in a Lamborghini, and we projection mapped onto a white Lamborghini, and you see all it was for an exhibit. So
that's cool. What kind of, is there like a software package for that?
Yeah. So we personally use one. It's called Watch Out.
Okay.
You familiar with
that,
Watch Out? Yeah. So we use one. It's called Watch Out. I believe Watch Out version 6.1 is out right now. But really, I've been using Watch Out since about version 3.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that like version 5 changed so many things and made so many things so much better.
Yeah.
So, Watch Out is kind of our go-to for all those kinds of manipulating things.
Well, the first time I think I saw Watch Out was when we were actually at a very large conference in Indianapolis.
Yes.
And they had a really big screen. So, and this was like one of the first times I think that I had even seen that.
Yeah.
Because it was like brand new. And so literally this huge screen, I probably have a picture of it I could find.
Right.
But like part of it just like crapped out.
Right. I think that was probably like Watch Out 1.
Yeah.
Or
and
maybe Watch Out 2, 1.5 or 2.
Right.
But yeah, that was...
Yeah, we went in the production... I don't know that you could call it a truck. It was like
an area tent.
And I remember seeing that. So yeah, so that's really cool. So that's come a long ways then.
Watch Out has come light years since the time that you saw it there in Indianapolis.
And you just run that on a beefed up computer, or you need something special?
No, well, it's beefed up. We custom built our racks for Watch Out.
Yeah.
Custom built the computers with the video cards that we wanted, the hardware we wanted, and it's essentially a beefed up Windows machine. It's running Windows 10 now. It was running 7, but now it's running 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, big
with the auto updates turned off.
Yeah,
so.
it does. It is much like Galactica. It does not live on the network. It is its own thing. It does not get messed with.
Yeah.
You go to it with a jump drive and you put the content on it. Like, it does not get networked.
Yeah. That's for the
because
better.
that is for the best. Bad things could happen.
Yes.
So
well, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a really good blend of things I get to mess with. I get to mess with, large format audio consoles and large format line arrays and things like that. So it really is, for someone who loves technology, it really is a dream industry.
Right, yeah, because you just get to be, you were showing Ryan earlier just some of the, just list of equipment and things.
Yeah.
And it's cool stuff.
Yeah, that was pretty insane, how the variety of things that you mess with. It's not like a single specialization, but it's kind of all over the map.
Yeah, yeah, we will do everything from one wireless handheld ribbon cutting at a some bank that's opening a new branch to a 3,000 person national conference that we've got coming up. So it's all everything in the gambit.
Yeah, well that's sweet, and that's actually what brings you to town.
Yes, I'm actually in town doing a conference, so it'll be a good time. I'm looking forward to a week in the Pacific Northwest. So.
Yes, so that's very good. Well, hopefully you have your iPhone there. We actually all have iPhones here.
Yeah.
And hopefully we're not being listened to or hacked, because we're all aware that Apple had a little issue that came out with the fact that you could, what was it, Ryan? You can make a call. And
so with the FaceTime bug that just came out, that's in the headlines right now, is you can make a call, and then the other person, unlike what should happen, is you don't have to pick up on the other end, and you can just start hearing their audio.
Did you connect yourself again? I think.
Yeah. So literally initiating the FaceTime
like a conference, and then turning it into a conference with yourself.
Yeah, and then you turn to a conference with yourself, and then that basically pings their microphone to start, whether or not the user has consented.
So you don't even have to You don't even have to trick it like you and I are in a call and then you try to conference in, Joshua.
No.
You don't even have to trick it. You can just straight from the get-go ping that phone and it...
Yeah. It has to do with Apple's code on the FaceTime server specifically. Mm-hmm. They're going to come out and patch it with a client update that we'll talk about.
But for now, they just turned off the conferencing server.
Yeah, so they turned off the conferencing server.
Where the bug was.
Yeah.
But I think the most interesting piece about this at this point is that now it's come out that this kid, I'm looking at this article right now, says kid tried to warn Apple about FaceTime bug. Right. And apparently this kid who was I guess he just gets on FaceTime with his friends to talk about Fortnite. And
go figure.
Yeah.
His mom tried to send a letter to Apple saying, my teen found a major security flaw in Apple's new OS. He can listen to your iPhone, iPad without your approval. I have video, submitted bug report at Apple support, waiting to hear back. And basically, they it's kind of you know how it is when you call support.
Right.
Yeah.
They just sometimes don't care. And you would think that Apple would have some kind of system to actually reward or encourage people to say, we found a major problem.
Yeah.
Versus you just get the typical, what?
Right. Well, I mean, do you also think that it could be a problem that, like you said, Apple is so big and there's so many derelicts that call in with problems all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
And when somebody actually finds out something wrong,
it doesn't go up the chain.
Everybody's called wolf enough or whatever. It just doesn't go up the chain.
Yeah.
Right.
And so these guys are like, oh, this kid's just a kid, just messing around.
Yeah.
And then the reality is that they've been so slow to respond to this that, I mean,
It's become a big thing.
Well, they're talking potential lawsuit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to comment on that, working directly with Apple in previous job experience, directly with their support team and their bug team, all the way up to like tier 3 up from what a normal kind of developer gets. It's very hard for even a developer who pays money to Apple to be a developer to actually get those bugs up the chain enough to be aware. We actually know, Joshua and I know a few different Apple developers here and there that used to be doing that thing all the time. In conversations with them, going up the chain is very hard to get something all the way up where an engineer would look at it and say, hey, this is wrong, we need to fix this, to put it on the next big patch, like 12.x, for example. So, I think that it just kind of got lost in the mix. And he kind of was like the needle in the haystack, if you will.
Right. Well, do you think it's a culture issue with them? Do you think it's where Apple, our stuff doesn't break, and so we are in denial about the fact that it could potentially be derelict?
It could be. I mean, when I first started with Apple stuff, I used Apple stuff when I was like a kid, like an Apple II. But then I was PC all the way until they had the new, when they came out with the first iPhone. And then in 2007, I got my first MacBook Pro. And I remember you could call, and it was like the most impressive customer support ever. I was just like, wow, this company is awesome. You can call, you can get support. Well, then fast forward several years later, and I'm in charge of all these computers and overseeing stuff. And we just had something that, in my opinion, is routine, a power supply that had gone bad. And I'm like, I can tell that the power supply is bad because we have a million of them, and they all work, and this one doesn't, no matter what you use. So I call... And my goal is just, hey, we have Apple Care. We need you to send us a new power supply. This one's bad. Well, this guy started telling me about that maybe I should call the power company because it could be that the power in the city is fluctuating, and maybe the power to our building is fluctuating, and that's causing the power supply to come in and out. And I'm like,
but does he understand the basic concept of a transformer?
And I'm like, you need to understand, I'm in a building with a ton of computers and networking equipment and audio equipment, video. Believe me. I know, just replace the power supply, but I think that and this is just a problem with tier 1 support. They just seem to be really bad. It's like one time at Walmart, we bought a bunch of Christmas lights for a project. They were bad. We started pulling them out, and like every other box was bad. So I'm like, we got to take these back. So I take them back, and I tell the person, I'm like, hey, listen, we bought a bunch of these. And then when we went to Walmart, before we returned it, we actually went and opened boxes and plugged them in and found out that the whole batch is bad. So I said, these are bad. Like, you're selling them, they're bad. We have to return these, and you may want to pull the ones off your shelf or call someone because they're all bad. You're going to have a lot of returns. And he just looked at me and goes, so, like, what? and it's just, I think sometimes these people just don't care, and there's not an escalation system that actually says, hey, I literally can hack your stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I think, like, internally within companies, I think I agree, there's a big problem going from it now, again, internally focused from like a tier 1 to tier 2 or tier 3 support. There's no direct like compensation or a gratification, if you will, of finding something like that. If I'm a tier 1 support guy working for Apple and I can't talk to my manager who's going to go up the chain even farther, 5, 10 more steps to figure out a problem, and I work for the company, heck, if that kid figured it out, imagine if just some tier 1 crony figured it out. It probably would still have the same effect, but he works for the same company. So it's like, what the heck? There's no really like way to go up the chain here.
Well, the good news is my 2017 MacBook Pro that kept going bad, they finally replaced it and gave me a 2018.
Very good.
And then I was really excited until Christmas, after flying, I opened it up and the speaker was busted, and then I had to send it off again. But anyway, so they come through every once in a while, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with that, and we'll just keep an eye on it. The other kind of big thing we wanted to talk about, because the day we're recording this, which hopefully I get this edited fast so that when you're watching this, it's not like, another year, but we just watched the Super Bowl. And we wanted to talk about this because we looked at it on a couple different apps, on Hulu, on the CBS app, and this thing was so compressed. It was so compressed, and I think they had trouble with the stream last year, and so we're guessing that they just literally wanted to put out kind of the most compressed stream ever. And we were joking about how when things are over compressed and there's like confetti and it just goes bad, and then we had a moment of confetti,
complete hash.
So what's you guys' thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, obviously what it looked like they had done is they had planned for there to be a whole lot of bandwidth need,
Right.
a bunch of people watching, and basically tried to make it as hardware stream friendly as possible.
Right.
And by doing that, they sacrificed a lot of potential quality.
Right.
Like if we would have been watching the thing in, let's say over like your cable provider or even satellite.
Right.
I think if we were watching satellite, we were watching a cable provider, we were watching like a Uverse kind of a thing, the quality would have been infinitely better, I think. I mean, I really do think that we were probably 720p maximum.
Yeah.
With really bad stuff.
When it was
Still?
still.
Yeah, when no
nothing
movement.
was happening
No
and it was
movement.
still, and it was like only 3 colors on the screen. I think we were getting like 720.
Right.
Yeah, and we still had artifacting.
And there
at
was
that.
still
Yeah.
artifacting. I
Yeah.
mean, even the colors of the different shades of the turf, and it looked like turf, not even real grass, and it was artifacting, and it was just it made it hard to watch and to appreciate the quality. Like you could watch it and understand what was happening in
Yeah.
the game,
Yeah.
but the viewing experience was not up to par with what you would typically expect from a streaming service, and really it makes Hulu look bad.
And CBS, because
And-
their
Yeah.
app looked bad,
Well, yeah,
too.
but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
if I was the
Yeah.
streaming company,
Oh, yeah.
I'd be hacked.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be mad
Right.
because
Yeah.
I'm telling all these people, oh, you can cut the cable and you
Yeah.
can watch the game
But
on,
you're gonna
on
watch
my
it
streaming service.
in the 90s.
Yeah,
it's gonna look
like,
what was that website? Stupid videos at everyone.com.
Yeah.
And it looks that. I mean, it was really
Yeah,
bad.
you're going to watch it in like 320p, YouTube
Yeah.
quality, and it was just...
And yeah.
So like one of the things that like we haven't talked about before since the game just ended, essentially, is what do you guys think about like the advertisers that pay so much money for those ads?
Yeah, that
and
is
like
a good point.
That's not something that I thought about just right now. I didn't see as much artifacting as the live cameras on the field because it is pre-rendered, they just kind of shove it out there.
Right.
But it's still the bandwidth consumption still the same,
It's
and the
still
thought
the
process
same.
still the same. And it's like, how do you feel if you're Ford and you're paying $1 million a second,
Right.
and your thing looks like crap?
Yeah, I think that's a valid concern, and that's
Yeah.
one of those things where, like we said, we didn't watch it over the satellite.
Right.
But over satellite, I hope and pray that it looked better than it did
Yeah.
over Hulu and over the
Yeah.
CBS app. I just think that, if you are, Budweiser,
Yeah.
Ford,
Yeah.
these big companies, that are paying millions and millions
Right.
of dollars. I mean, I would be upset
Yeah.
if my target demographic. I mean, think about Budweiser. Think
Yeah.
about Bud Light. Target
Well-
demographic is 21 to 30-year-old men.
And
Yeah.
they paid so much money for those ads to be. I mean, they're probably
Yeah.
shot on really
And
expensive
who are the
cameras.
people? Who are
They
the
look
people that are
nice.
cutting the cable?
Right.
Yeah.
21
Yeah.
to 30-year-old millennials
Yeah.
are the people that are cutting. So your
Yeah.
target demographic is getting this jank stream.
Yeah.
Right.
And not only like short commercial jank. I mean, we're talking a minute long commercial
Yeah.
jank.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little disappointing. Like I said, I didn't really notice it until like later on in the Super Bowl.
Right.
When you came back to the kind of the live feed from the field, it was definitely like boom, artifacting,
Yep.
massive
Yeah.
compression going on from
Yep.
their side of things. But I did, now that I think about it, see some jank
Yeah.
going on in terms of the
Yeah.
pre-rendered commercials.
And I mean, it's better than them losing completely going our servers are
Oh, well,
overloaded.
yeah,
Yeah.
and dropping
you know.
the feed.
But I'm looking on YouTube here, and or on YouTube, I'm looking on Twitter, and like here's a guy who says, "Sorry, YouTube TV, I had to switch over to my over-the-air antenna signal to watch the Super Bowl. The compression and pixelation looks bad, and over-the-air gives me Dolby Digital Plus audio. You still have a bunch of work to do." And then someone else is like, "Why is YouTube TV sponsoring the Super Bowl? You don't need to stream the game with crappy network compression. It's available over the air free in 1080." And there's just a lot of people in
Yep.
here with their different experiences who basically kind of thought what we thought, which is like, this is bad.
Yeah, this is not.
I feel like OTA this year really won versus
Yeah.
cable
Well, I mean, just
internet.
my old Motorola DVR on analog TV looked better than what we saw today. It was
Yeah.
really unfortunate.
Well, and at some point you have to think that the NFL gets involved with this too.
Yeah.
Because it looks bad on the quality of the game.
quality of the association.
Yeah.
Right.
And the NFL does not take those type of issues lightly. So this is what it comes down to as far as a conclusion for me on the Super Bowl. This is like the mecca. This is the
Yeah.
event of the year. Biggest television event of the year, bar none. Why can't we spend the money on the hardware and do it right? Why
Yeah.
the server structure in the world exists to do this right. Why is this the result? Why
Right.
is this what we got?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Like
the hardware exists. It's
Yeah.
out there. And if it's
Yeah.
not,
well, I mean,
it
if
needs
they
to
use
be.
Amazon Web Services or something.
Yeah,
I mean,
and if it's not, it needs to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if we
Yeah.
can't do the capacity to do the biggest event of the year,
We
Yeah.
probably
And
shouldn't be doing
we
it.
probably shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
we should go
Or we
back
should
to
be
cable.
or we should be doing it, just not streaming it.
Well, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I mean.
We'll
If
release
the
it on
streaming
DV
infrastructure doesn't exist
Yeah.
to do it up to
Right.
par,
Yeah, release it
or
on
at least
DVD and call it a day.
somewhat to par
Yeah.
DVD.
I don't
Yeah,
want
well,
to
we
pay to
felt like
cut
we
the
watched
cord to watch something that looks like it's from the 90s when
Right.
I mean, it would have looked better just in some random bar with whatever the
Yeah.
crappy cable box they had than what I saw on my 4K TV
Yep.
with my 4K Apple TV with my Hulu subscription and all the money and the gigabit connection
Yep.
for that. I mean, that's
That's a good point.
yeah, that was like streaming over, 2G
Fiber.
Or yeah. So, anyways, it's interesting. We'll keep an eye on it. Maybe Super Bowl next year they'll get it
Yeah.
right. That's what we'll hope for.
let's
Look
hope.
for our
Yeah.
post Super Bowl podcast next year.
Yes.
Yeah.
and we
And
will
compare.
We'll
We'll let you
compare
know
it.
what we think. So, I think we're going to wrap up this edition of Man Cave Technology. But thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see you on the next episode.